So basically, I actually forgot about doing this K drama challenge actually, and I feel bad because obviously the last episode was about Boys Over Flowers because I recently finished watching that, and obviously I had to do an episode about it immediately. But obviously, I think exactly so I got to like day three, but this will be day yeah, number uno dos tres uno dos tres cuatro cinco. Do you know what I mean? Do you guys know, like, I was gonna say, I'm actually fluent in Spanish, but not really. Obviously, I studied it in school, so I have a little bit. So, like, un poco, do you know what I mean? People be like, do you speak Spanish? I say a little, just a tad, just a smidge. Not anything crazy. But yeah, like, I think it's obviously the the fifth episode. I've loved all of them so far. And obviously the cover is actually Dynamite Kiss, so I can't wait to do an episode on that once it's finished. Dynamite Kiss is finishing um Dynamite Kiss is finishing on Christmas, guys. How crazy. You're gonna be eating at dinner table, like, sorry, I've got to go and watch Dynamite Kiss because Dynamite Kiss is great. But then again, you're like, Dynamite Kiss is more important than eating Christmas dinner, like, and sitting at the table with your family. I'll be so real. I think I'm also gonna well, before Christmas dinner, I'm gonna go live on TikTok. Just to, like, yeah, say hi to the peoples, which is you. Say hi to the peoples. Go through my gifts. But yeah, I'm really just gonna have a little chat with you guys because I think that would be fun. And yeah, you like, yeah, that's what I'm about to do. But today's obviously K drama episode is going to be about True Beauty. Like, my TikTok's been showing me True Beauty a lot actually. So then I thought it's so fitting. It makes so much sense. Plus also, it also feels like, what's the word? Oh yeah, cathartic. Just in the way that when I started this podcast, I was talking about True Beauty in the very beginning. So exactly episode one, like the very beginning of the pod, I was talking about love triangles and I was talking about this drama, right? Of course, now this is like an in-depth version, but I was talking about love triangles. I was talking about Vampire Diaries and True Beauty, and those other love triangles, right? Even remember, Dynamite Kiss is a love triangle too, but whatever. Like, I wouldn't obviously be doing a love triangle episode again because I feel like I made it clear even in that first one that, like, I don't enjoy love triangles anymore, and even everyone has been saying that about Dynamite Kiss too. Like, nobody knew it was gonna have love triangle attached to it. Like, remember, I think when I started watching Dynamite Kiss, right, and then I got into it, like, as in the second episode, it was like, wow, like, this is a love triangle, and I didn't know. And it was almost like, you know, when it's like, I got into it, and then I was like, it's almost too late for me to leave. I was like, damn, like, I would like to get out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but then I'm glad I stayed though. Like, obviously, which obviously when I do the episode, we'll talk about it. Like, but it's just like, wow, it's just that's the quickest way to, like, turn me off of something. And exactly, even going now to our topic, like with True Beauty was actually, remember, one of my early K dramas, so that's probably why it was able, like, that's what I'm saying, like, I didn't have much issue with them in that time era. Like, I think I always say to people, Extraordinary You was my first. Well, Extraordinary You and, like, Love Alarm, and then both of those dramas, Extraordinary You and Love Alarm, they are semi love triangles too. Do you get it? Like, so it's almost like, yes, the beginning of my K drama journey was love triangles anyway. Like, do you get what I mean? But it's the fact of the matter is that I've been running from them, like, ever since. And I always say to people that my favorite genre of K dramas is thriller, right? Because I think it's like when you watch so much love triangles, that's why you need something else. Like, I don't know, like, like when you even think about anime, and anime has its some subgenres as well, like, you know what I mean? It has soju, shonen. Like, when I watch too much shonen, like, I miss soju, like, as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, it happens. Do you get it? But it's like nowadays, because I know that K dramas do love triangles all the time. I just prefer to watch the action ones. Like, remember when I even started this challenge? I started with As You Stood By, and like As You Stood By is was like, you know what I mean? It was so serious, and it had no like lightness in it, if that makes sense. But of course it didn't, because obviously it was about domestic abuse. So there we go. But I suppose, yes, we'll be talking about True Beauty, which is light and friendly, and let's get into it. That was the intro. I was like, that was the intro if you didn't know. So, fun fact, I always was disappointed in the way that like True Beauty even like, okay, yeah, the way that they did True Beauty, they did it wrong, because I think I understood the people who always talk about when you like, yeah, when you read something before you watch it. I understood those people, because everyone talks about that when they're like, yes, compare the webtoon to the show. And obviously I was watching I no, I was reading the webtoon before True Beauty even came out, and it was just like, it just wasn't what it was supposed to be. Like, the thing that they messed up, which was very annoying, and I think this is funny, guys. I'll tell you, I was a Shojin shipper even when I was reading the webtoon. Like, that's what I'm saying. Nothing really changed for me. Like, you know what I mean? It was exactly the same. Like, I was watching the show, and even so, I still was drawn to Han Sojun. I was like, yes, this is my guy. I'm on this team. I'm staying here. But I knew that already when I was reading the webtoon. And wow, reading the webtoon was such a good time. Like, I remember, like, I used to read webtoons, like, I want to say excessively, when I was in college. Like, and I think that's the best time to, if that makes sense. Like, it makes sense to when you're in education, to like, you know, it's giving like, yeah, have a side hobby, because you're in school, you're gonna be studying, you're doing all that stuff, but you need the something else that's also going to engage you, and also like something that you're excited to do when it reaches lunch or break. Like, I remember in college, yeah, break used to be like, I don't know, it's either 15 minutes or half an hour. And then lunch was practically, obviously, for like over an hour or very long. Like, when you go from college I mean, from secondary to college, you're just like, wow, like, obviously, lunch is longer, all of these things. Like, you know what I mean? It just seems better. And obviously, it was, because in those times, I would literally just obviously read True Beauty, and yeah, that was the life. Like, it was so good. It's like, it's as good as like when people talk about Euphoria Sundays, like, oh, they were the holy grail, because it would be like you'd every Sunday you'd have something to look forward to. And it's even like, actually, you can compare it again to Dynamite Kiss, and when it comes to a Wednesday or a Thursday, we know that we have a new Dynamite Kiss episode, and then it just makes you excited. But this is my whole thing. Like, when I was reading the webtoon, I thought the webtoon was great. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, yeah, the webtoon was so good. And then, obviously, I'm not gonna speak about the webtoon if you haven't read it. Stop here. So, like, what happened was, like, the webtoon, yeah, really gives it in a way that, like, she dates both of them, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, obviously, Suo, right? He's your classic main lead. Like, yeah, he's very Okay, sorry. Technical difficulties, sorry. Um, he's like your classic female, I mean female, sorry, male lead in the way that like, he comes off miserable, he's flaky, he's a bit like right, exactly. He's a bit like cold, you get it? Like, exactly. Like even when I was talking about Vampire Diaries in the first episode, that is like Suo also in a way reminds me of Stefan also, just kind of in a way that like, Stefan's like really complicated and like, he has this, what do you call it? Yeah, he has this dark background story because obviously handle he can't handle how he interacts with blood, right? So, but like Suo isn't actually the same. So I remember when I was even reading the webtoon, I didn't like Suo. Do you know what I mean? Like he wasn't really gelling to me. Of course, I thought it was great that Suo and Jung Kyung were like they were similar in the way that they both really liked comics. Yeah, that was their thing and I thought that was really cute. Like, especially in the drama when they're in the bookstore and then obviously like I suppose they had that seat. Like yeah, they had that couch and they would write stuff on the wall. And then also there's also that other scene when Suo reaches on the bookshelf to get Junkie on a book. So obviously I was like, yeah, they're cute in all that way, but do you get what I mean? And you know what's also good? Like, what, obviously I feel like the show also shows like they show Sojin's feelings more in the drama than they do in the webtoon. Like generally like we can see in the show that Han Sojin is a grade A yearner. Like he is a grade A earner, and I was like, but Suo doesn't really give you that. And a lot of the time, I feel like a lot of the time, male leads don't give that. Do you know what I mean? Like, for some reason, I feel like second leads, as you can sometimes see, depending on who they are anyway, because, because exactly, depending on who they are, like I was talking about Dynamite Kiss earlier, depending on who they are. But I just mean that, like, sometimes with second leads, you can obviously feel sympathetic for them in the way that obviously they yearn for the female lead so bad, like, and they don't get a chance at all. But that was what my gripe was. Okay, like obviously in the webtoon she does manage to date Sojin. Like they obviously do have, it's given that yeah, they have a trial run, like they have one, and like their relationship was great. And of course, well, it was great until it wasn't, because obviously Han Sojin was into his music, so really he couldn't really make that work. His fault. Moving on. You know what I mean? That's our only gripe with him. But yeah, he couldn't make it work with her because he was obviously being in the music industry and he was getting loads of fame. So that was where their relationship fell off. But then I'm just like, that's what I mean. So I mean, the people of the drama, they didn't really like, I guess yeah, they didn't follow the webtoon to a T. And a lot of times, I guess anyways, people when they make stuff don't always do that anyways. Like they don't like to what's the word, they don't like to, yeah, like follow something to the script. They want to make it slightly different. But that was rude to me because obviously I felt robbed, like because I was an avid shipper. And like, do you know, like I always get Han Sojin and Jin Kyung edits on my TikTok all the time. That tells you something. They know who I am, like as in they know who I am. So my whole thing is that it's so strange that like they never really explored that in the drama. But in the drama it's all about so like he's not even that great, like and I feel like anyone listening to this will be like, I really like Suo. And exactly, because it's everything. I feel like when a love triangle is going on anyways, it becomes a competition between, but between us, I mean, between the audience, I mean, we're like, oh yeah, I like Suo, and then they're like, I like Sojin, and then it's just, yeah, it's one of those things. And I feel like even when the drama was on, like, it was like that too. Like, it was the same. Like, obviously, people would be like, yeah, Sue was so much better for her and blah, 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 and all these sorts of things. But I was just like, like, I think I leaned to Sujin so much because he exactly, his affections were not received, and also like he fell for her in such a weird way as well. Like, not even, I guess I can't remember actually how they tell it in the webtoon, but like obviously in the drama he falls for her because she's always there, like she's always present. Then she does that raw thing at him and he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, and then he also has to come to her and be like, do it again. Like, do you know what I mean? Because he's like, why is it that you keep doing that? And every time I feel something in my chest, you know what I mean? Like something in me is like, wow, like I must like this girl. But I enjoy, I enjoy everything about it. But like, this is my thing. And I think also True Beauty was it was my beginning in like feeling sympathetic towards the second lead. Like I always do. And it's really annoying because why can't I just like the male? Like, and sometimes, that's what I said to you guys earlier, sometimes the male lead is better than the second lead, but it's not always the case. It's just, as I said, it just depends that sometimes they are better. Like, obviously, I feel like, no, of course it would be good to reference Dynamite Kiss. I just feel like, first of all, in the male lead in Dynamite Kiss is better than the second lead because obviously he's just the best friend, right? And then also the male lead, he was there first. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, of course, you could debate that in also this as well, because you would say that Suo, right? He met Jungkyung first as well, because obviously they knew each other when they knew each other when they were children, or either like, I feel like, okay, they knew each other, I feel like, just way before she ever met Sojun anyways. Like, I know that I think Suo met her, I suppose, when she didn't have any makeup on. Like, he probably was the first person to ever see her bare face. And then obviously Sojun was able to see it though afterwards. I think once what's it called? Yeah, he came to the salon. And he was able to see her bare face for the first time. And then obviously he told her, that her bare face was, that he said, your bare face doesn't make much difference. And with or without makeup, he was like, oh, it doesn't really matter. That's what he basically said that, which was exactly. Who wouldn't want to hear that anyways? Like, who wouldn't want to hear? And then I feel like with Suo anyways, Suo didn't even really, like, Suo was so, to me, he was, I was going to call him nonchalant, and then I was like, no, he's semi-nonchalant though, do you know what I mean? In the way that, like, he would say that he liked Junghyun, but that was not for a while though, actually. I feel like, especially when I think like the second season, actually, for example, is basically when, like, I remember the scene where he got drunk and he was like, oh, you're pretty like my girlfriend. And then obviously we said that's not a nonchalant man right there, but I meant like that was the only instance that I can really like think of, to be honest. But then, when I think about Sojin, I think about how, like, he was crying on the steps, and like he was crying on the steps, and he was tweaking out all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I said earlier that he's a grade A yearner, because he shows all the traits of being a grade A yearner. Crying, like, do you know what I mean? Battling with whether your feelings are real. And also obviously doing the, what do you call it? The selfless thing, which is like pushing the girl into the other guy. Do you know what I mean? Like, think about somebody like, oh my gosh, yeah, think about somebody like Conrad. I think I've seen that trend that people are doing on TikTok recently, where people are doing this trend of, oh yeah, like, oh, he's not that guy. Like, that's what they've been doing. And then I don't know if I saw a True Beauty one, but I did see one about Conrad. That's my main thing. I saw one about Conrad, and obviously it was like, oh, Conrad's not a yearner, because obviously he basically came to Belly on the wedding night. What was it? The engagement night to his brother, and wanted to be like, no, don't get married to him. We were like, what? You're weird. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Conrad is not like, Conrad wasn't really pushing Belly towards Jeremiah at all. Like, do you get it? He really wasn't. He was literally trying to break them up mid wedding, like, you know what I mean. He was like, he didn't even wait as well, you know. You think sometimes the other guy sometimes always, I guess, interjects in the wedding. You expect that, you know what I mean, like, oh, does anyone object? Yeah, then the guy comes out, but you don't necessarily expect the person to come like either, yeah, the night before, like exactly, and to wait and to be like, yeah, don't marry him. We said, oh, and I think when he said that, first thing I thought of Laurie, because I was like, what are we doing? I said, this is not Little Women. What do you mean don't marry him? Who are you, first of all? And then Penny was like, what are you talking about? But this is my whole thing. Like, I think that's what I'm saying. Sojin is such a good second lead, because he is so selfless. Like, he wasn't really trying to make Jin Kyung like him. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. That's sometimes second leads who do that, they really frustrate me. Like, I mean, Sunjin would like to be more in pain than try to break her and Suo up. Like, and he was more like, he was comforting her. Yeah, that scene when he was comforting her and being like, oh, what's wrong? And he was like, I'm sorry. And then we're like, you didn't even do anything. You didn't even do anything, first off. But then he's like, I'm sorry. And she's like, why doesn't Suo like me? And then you can just see his face fall. He's like, oh. He's like, okay. He's like, well, okay, I don't know. And then he just kind of just hugs her and holds her. But then you can feel that he is thinking about it through, like, he's wishing he could be more selfish with her. I feel like he was generally selfish with her, yeah, probably. That's what I'm saying, in possibly the first season, but he wasn't selfish with her after that, though. You know what I mean? He would tell her that he had feelings for her, but he wouldn't necessarily say it like, what's the word, yeah, explicitly. Like, he wouldn't necessarily go outright and say, yeah, I like you, because he didn't really want to confuse her, like, especially when, yeah, he was confessing to her that time in the restaurant, and he was like, yeah, there's somebody that I like. And then obviously she was like, oh, well, why aren't you with them? And then obviously it's the way, like, he wasn't really saying, he was just like talking about it. Any other male second lead would have been like, I like you, leave him for me. That's what I'm saying. Those second leads are crazy. I said, you're doing too much now. Obviously, it always reminds me of what do you call it? It reminds me of, yeah, of Jacob, because remember when Jacob what's it called? He leaned in to kiss Bella, remember? And then she had to punch him in the face. He already knew she was going to hurt her hand in the first place, because he's a werewolf. So he did that on purpose. And we were like, that's so crazy. Like, that's what I'm saying. He was selfish. Han Sojin is selfless. And I'm just like, yeah. And he would tear himself up about it. Like, he would tear himself up about it. Even reminding me of, like, It reminded me exactly of the male lead in Dynamite Kiss, but also no, because he's the male lead. Do you know what I mean? Also no, because he's the male lead. Like, he's automatically going to win. He just has to, exactly. It's weird because they've made it look like, the male lead is suffering more than the second, if that makes sense, because obviously, which doesn't happen very much, except I suppose, yeah, that is what happened in Summer I Turned Pretty, like, season, or the recent season, because I suppose we did see how Conrad was on the outs and Jeremiah was with Belly. So I suppose they've also done it in that same way. I meant Dynamite Kiss has, because obviously the male lead was with the female lead at first, but then obviously now she's in a supposed fake marriage. So I suppose it's the exact same way, but it's very interesting though, like when that happens. I mean, like when they show it in that way, because you don't really expect the male lead to necessarily be hurting at all. Like, you would just expect it to be the second lead to do that. That's what happens in this story. You know what I mean? Like, in this story, we see the second lead suffer a lot, and even so that it makes you sympathize with him more. Like, the fact of the matter is that sometimes it can be so easy to pick a side, but when they start doing all of the exactly when they start throwing around the sympathy card, it gets a bit more difficult. I'll be honest. Do you see what I mean? And that makes it sound so wrong, but it's true, because that's what happened to me. Like, it tugs on your heart sleeves, and then you're just like, well, I couldn't be on this side even if I tried. Do you know what I mean? Like, I really couldn't, because he's really upset, but obviously he knows she's not into him. But just like, wow. And actually, and then I don't know, I was gonna say, like, obviously then I was gonna move on to like the debate of who's the better choice. But again, I'm always like, with our triangles, right? I'm always like, the better choice, it's entirely up to us. Like, there's no, like, of course there's a winner and a loser. That's fine. But there's no need to say like who's better. It's not up to us anyway. Like, it's not up to us anyway. But I'm just like, I don't know. Yeah. I just think sometimes with love triangles as well, it's all about like, yeah, who you choose anyways. I mean, if you were in the female lead's shoes, who would you pick? That's what it comes down to. I don't know if sometimes it really is a debate of who is better, because this is what I mean. Like, when I think about Summer I Turned Pretty, like, also people say this actually, like, neither of them are that good for her actually. And like, I think a lot of people, when watching the season when it was on, were like, oh yeah, they were like, oh yeah, we don't want Betty to just choose herself, but they were also like, oh, if she does, then it's not that bad, because obviously we were like, Conrad and Jeremiah, like, we were like, what are they really giving? What are they bringing to the table? Not much. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think personally, like, that's why being on the hand on Sojin's side is just because, yes, if I had to choose, I would pick Sojin. Like, that's what it is, And I think that is what happens a lot in like choosing a side. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what it comes down to. It doesn't really come to anything else. Because this is what I mean. My thing is, both people, have something in common, that they both like the girl. Do you know what I mean? And like, they're willing to showcase that to her as well. So like, you know what I mean? We can't really necessarily be like, yeah, one is bad or one is worse. We're like, you both are loving out loud. That's all we can really ask for. Like, honestly, all we can ask for is a person who loves you out loud and will tell anyone and everyone that they do. That's all there is. It's like literally the bare minimum. Like, you know what I mean? It's literally like the one requirement. So that's why it's just generally like sometimes you're just like, oh, who's the best, who's the worst. It's really not a case of that. It's just, yeah, it's who do you like? Like, that's what it is. Like, I was like to myself when I was reading the webtoon, and especially even when the drama was out as well, like, I was like, look at Sojin's hair. I was like, look at his motorbike. I was like, he also sings. I was like, what else was I like? I was like, he's supposed to be like, I don't know, the popular one. And I mean, it's funny because, yeah, it looked like he was more popular than Suo, even though we couldn't really tell. Like, they were both equally popular in their own right. Of course, Jungkook was not at all. Like, and then, but like, obviously, I feel like one of them was more higher up though. Like, it's like Sojin had all of these people around him, right? But Suo didn't really necessarily have that. Like, I feel like, remember, Suo was popular in the way that, like, he had good grades and he was also good looking. So he had those two things. But I meant, like, Sojin had everything else. You know? He had the popularity, the charisma, and then also the numbers. And then that just obviously proves to us which one is more higher up anyways. I saw a TikTok actually the other day as well, which obviously was about True Beauty. I think it was to do with, yes, how her mum was really horrible to her, which she was, because obviously her mum didn't understand that, like, she wanted to wear makeup and she needed makeup to feel pretty. And then obviously, like, her mum would just be like, yeah, stop wearing makeup. And then, like, Jungkook would be like, but why can't I wear makeup and why can't I feel, beautiful in my own skin? And that was the only thing. Like, I feel like Jungkook needed it from, like, her family anyways. Yeah, if we focus on that, like, she needed, like, her family around her to tell her that she was pretty, which they didn't, by the way. Even, like, I remember her brother, he was like, yeah, I'm when he's like, my eyes, he was usually always clowning her about her natural face. And that's really sad. Like, like, the fact that, yes, your own family don't even think that you're pretty. I'm like, wow. That is, like, again, I just said before, bare minimum. We said, yeah, again, that's also the bare minimum. As to think that your family would think that you're pretty just all the time, no matter what you look like, no matter what's even going on, I mean, in your day or your life, like, they would be like, oh, what's the word? Yeah, they'd be like, yeah, you look really nice today. But she generally didn't have that. And then I guess, so she didn't even have that. Like, this is what I mean. Like, she had no support system. She didn't have it from them. And then she didn't have it from people at school with her. And then she was bullied for a long time. And then no one was helping her. She also, oh my gosh, remember when True Beauty starts and, like, she has that crush on that guy? I think the guy who was, yeah, he was working in the cafeteria, and then she has a crush on him, and then obviously she gets clowned, and then obviously they all, like, throw the gifts at her, and then she's just like, why do you guys hate me? And that was really upsetting. Like, even True Beauty as well. True Beauty, again, is another one of those dramas as well that makes you analyze, like, the bullying, because bullying is something that, we do talk about a lot when watching K-dramas. Yeah, because the bullying in K-dramas are, like, they're so out of this world. Like, I think it was especially True Beauty and also The Glory that made me reflect on how bad the bullying can be. Plus also, okay, yeah, in the last episode, Boys Over Flowers, I think, yeah, Boys Over Flowers made me reflect on the bullying as well. So it's all three of those, actually. It's all three of those dramas. I was like, wow, the bullying can be really, really bad, because obviously you have them like, yeah, dunking heads in toilets. And then actually, when I also think about bullying as well, no, I was gonna say weak hero, but then also no, because I feel like Sion, obviously, he really fights, like, as in the way that, like, he doesn't let himself get bullied. Although he was getting bullied in, like, the first season, he wasn't really like lying down and taking it, if that makes sense. So like, again, it was like, you can't necessarily feel sorry for somebody who's like not really getting bullied, like, if that makes sense, because they're fighting back. Do you know what I mean? Like, sure, everyone's like on you, but I meant Sion wasn't really like taking the bullying. Yeah, like, bullying is more sad when like the person is actually taking it. And like, even with when I just mentioned Boys with Flowers, remember the guy actually wanted to jump off the roof. And like, again, I think I said in the previous episode was that, yeah, they didn't even ease you into that bullying either. It was just like, it was just thrown at you. Like, episode 1, I was like, wow, what are we doing here? So like, that's my whole thing. So really, it's like, you really do feel for Junkin, and then we do understand why she reverts to makeup anyways. But then, and that's what I'm saying, I just feel like, obviously, both of the guys let her know that she was pretty without it, but it was still a thing where, and you know what her makeup thing reminds me of anyways, actually, when I was watching the show, her makeup reminds me of like when you change your hairstyle and then everyone acts differently towards you. Like, that is so weird. Like, I think that is usually what I used to think of. It's like, I think it's like, it's the way society looks at materialistic things, and like, probably like, if you buy new shoes or you buy new clothes, and people like obviously change the way that they view and perceive you. But I know it's a very weird thing, but I do think that is exactly what I thought the makeup thing was. Like, it was just the way that she immediately changed her appearance, and everybody wanted to be friends with her. They wanted to engage with her, and they were just like, oh, who is this? Like, we've never seen this girl before. And we were like, guys, you've been going to school with her for ages. Like, she's been in your class for ages, but just now you see her and you're like, oh, you know what I mean? You're like, wow, she seems really cool or whatever. I just find it so weird. Like, but that's what I mean. And I just think exactly that is basically my message, like the message I got from the drama, because I was like, they, like, that is like, why do people view people in that way? As in, like, in materialistic ways. And why do people's behaviors change towards you when you get something like new? Do you know what I mean? I don't know why I said actually season 2 before, actually. It's because I felt like, I think, you know what happened why I said season 2 is because, in a way, remember, they have the time skip that makes you really feel like they move on to a new season, even though they don't. It's still the exact same one, because they have like, yeah, 16 episodes, and then obviously the time skip happens, I feel like midway, like around, yeah, it happens, yeah, near the end, and then obviously, yeah, there's the time skip, and obviously, Sojin and like, yeah, Sojin and Junkin are like really close, and then obviously Suo comes back, boo. Like, not me, like, yeah, not me being a hater, but yeah, like, no, but then, obviously, this whole show is great. Like, I think I was looking at, I found really, oh yeah, the funniest episode actually in the whole show, like even aside from like all the makeup stuff, and then actually it's another thing that I've always thought about. When the two people in a love triangle, you actually realize they do get on. I really do enjoy that a lot of the time. That is something I do enjoy because, like, okay, I guess remember for Conrad and Jeremiah, they can't though, but that's just because they're related. Like, exactly, that's what I think. Like, and it happened with Stefan and Damon too. Like, I think when it's like you guys are like related, it's a bit more difficult. Like, it can be hard to really maintain that relationship. So I think, and it more turns into like, exactly, it turns into hatred than like anything else. Like, I think with Conrad and Jeremiah's one, it was more like Jeremiah was also like, he was jealous of Conrad on the basis that Conrad was the favorite, and then also he also knew that Betty really liked Conrad. Even though, like, this was so crazy in that season, he was fine to, like, for her to settle for him, but he also knew her affections lied elsewhere. I was like, well, that generally sounds like a you problem, doesn't it? If you think about it, because obviously you already know. So I don't know why you're pretending that you don't. Like, and then it's just like, yeah, because you like her, but it's like, yeah, it doesn't really add up. Do you know what I mean? But then you're gonna do all that projection, like, yes, Conrad's better, like perfect Conrad, blah blah blah. And we were like, no, Conrad is not perfect. Like, the guy, when we look at Conrad, we're like, no, he's not perfect. Like, not even in the slightest. Even especially when, exactly, in that season, he wasn't even doing well at his traineeship or whatever, his little doctor thing. He wasn't doing well at that. And then you can just see that he's generally just a normal guy. I don't know why. I don't know why you think that he needs to be on a pedestal. He's having a bad time like you are, but you wouldn't know that because you don't ask him. I'm not. I'm not a Conrad defender. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like, I just find it weird. But like I said, the relation thing is why it's hard for, I feel like, for two people in a love triangle to get on. And then, okay, in general, they can't get on because obviously they both like the same girl. But then it's like, even in True Beauty, I mean, Sojin and Seo actually did get on, and then also they were friends anyways. They were friends before Junghyun even came in the picture, so that's even more why you're like, oh, they could have been friends again had she not been there, if that makes sense. Makes her sound like a homewrecker, but yes, if she wasn't there, they could have gone back to how they were, because their whole story was that obviously their friend committed suicide, and then they were obviously all friends together, all three of them, and then obviously Sojun was angry at Suo for the way that whole thing went down, but then obviously they got to talk about that, and then it was a whole misunderstanding, like, that's what it was. And then obviously they went to hospital together, because that scene was actually really funny as well, when they got knocked over by the car and they were like flying in the air. But yeah, they were flying, and then obviously they went to hospital, and then they had to help each other in the hospital. And obviously he was like, Sojin was like, so I need to go to the toilet. And then obviously so it was like, okay. Like, it's like, because you can tell that, I feel like two guys in a love triangle, like, they're such polar opposites in the way. That's why you're just like, he's just like, oh, I need to go. And so it's like, okay, I don't care. Like, he's like, I really don't care. Oh yeah, I forgot all about Soojin. Oh my gosh, Soojin, she was a fraud. They always have that in these all the time. She was a fraud, because she made out that she liked Jung Yoon, but she didn't. I was like, Oh gosh, it was crazy. Like she obviously, I think from the very beginning I knew that she liked Suho. Actually, it was completely obvious in the way that in the way that she was competing with him to have the best grades out of their whole class. I was like, yeah, you obviously have some kind of thing going on here, and I don't know what it is. Like, Syl's not in it with you, but I know that something in your mind is saying that you guys are in some kind of competition, and that if you were together, then you know what I mean. You could both be the what's it called? The two Sparties together? Like, that's what it is. You see? And oh my god. And even in the bro, I remember in the webtoon, yeah, she looked so evil. I just saw a picture of her from the webtoon and she looked so evil. Like, and then even in the show, yeah, even in the show, she was like that too. So it says Sujin Kang is the main antagonist of the True Beauty series. Exactly. She's an antagonist. She was a student at Sebom who is currently a social media influencer. And despite having a semi perfect life, Sujin deals with an alcoholic and abusive mother, a broken family, bulimia disorder, and an abusive boyfriend. That's the whole thing. I mean, yes, she did have a lot of stuff going on, but like again, it's like that's what I mean. They always do that in these shows. Like she had a lot going on, but again, does that really make sense for her to like go after Jungin in the way that she did, and then also like drag her down, and then also I suppose yes. Also, I remember I thought Sujin found out Junghyun's secret and wanted to expose her. I was like, aren't you guys supposed to be friends? That was really weird. That was strange. I didn't get it. I was like, I don't like her. See, because it said, yes, it says, why did Sujin betray Junghyun? It says she is childhood friends with Suho and has a crush on him. However, when she learned about Jooyoung and Suho dating, she betrayed Jooyoung by spreading the video of her being bullied at Yongpa High School. Yes, exactly. And then, yeah, see, that was what I was talking about actually a second ago. I was talking about the fact that, yeah, so she sent that video around, all because obviously she liked Suho and then he didn't want her. Anyways, he didn't want her. Like, what's wrong with you? It says they haven't explained past that caused Suho to dislike her, and he I can't say this word, continually rejected Seon's attempts to reconcile, treating her with animosity. Because she was rude. She was very like, she was also, what's the word? So she was antagonist, but she was like passive aggressive. Like no one likes a passive aggressive person. Oh my gosh, yeah, the music of Chiri. That would be actually my final note. Is it true? Yes. Okie dokie, yo. I think I saw a video when where they played that song at K events. Obviously, yeah, I don't know if people know of K events, but K events is an event that happens like, is it every month? Yeah, it happens once every month in Vauxhall, but I know that it goes around the world as well, actually. But then obviously, so that's what I'm saying. I was gonna say, for people who aren't from the UK, I know that K events does go around to different countries. But obviously that song was played at K events. I saw it on a video once and I was like, and I wasn't even there. I was like, is it true? Yes. Okie dokie. And it's so funny because that scene's probably like, yeah, that seems probably my favorite scene in the whole entire show. I'll be honest, because right, I think the moments where Sojin's just like being a teenage boy and not in sadness about Junghyun. I said those are my favorite. Those are my favorite parts. I'll be honest. I said, he's not crying about her when he's just being silly and like especially that scene because he thought he was home alone, and then he's just sitting there with his like leopard briefs on. We're like, yeah, sorry, there are people here. We're like, yeah, put clothes on, and his sister's like, what are you doing? And he's just like, ah. And then, oh my gosh, the guy who plays Sojin, obviously, when I first saw him, this was probably, yes, I was gonna say, this was the first place that I saw him. I mean, which is, uh, wait a second, what's the guy's name again? Obviously, I can find it by looking at the thing. But yes, Hanging Yop, exactly. I first saw, well, yeah, I first came, I first came across Hanging Yop from this drama actually, and then obviously from there, you know, yeah, I just became a fan, as you do, generally as you do, and it happens a lot in this field. Well, like honestly, in the K drama world, it happens very quickly. You see a guy in one or two dramas, he becomes your favorite Korean actor instantly. Oh, I guess no wait, I just moved on from the song part, but also, what's it called? I'm in the mood for dancing, yeah. Which is basically, yes, in the mood for dancing is, I think it's either the intro or the outro, or yeah, it's either one of those. But I really do like that song. I think I fell in love with it again, like recently when, I think, yeah, and I started thinking about True Beauty again. I I I listened to the song and I just added it to my OST like playlist. Or my OST, I think I said it to you guys before, but my OST playlist is like merged with songs from movies and TV shows because I just need them all together. You know that in a way that sounds very like, yeah, I don't know. It sounds very neurodivergent, but yeah, they all need to be in there at once. Because I was like, if I make one separately, then it's just gonna feel weird. Like, you know, it's like make a K drama playlist, make a TV shows playlist, and then make a movies playlist. I was like, no, that's too much work. Like, why would I give myself, yeah, why would I give myself work? It's easier to just merge them all together. Yeah, because I think obviously, like it says on Google, like his basically his stand out, like his debut role was, yeah, it says, well, in the main role, why in the web series, why, not that I saw him in that, or do they mean why her? Yeah, I think, yeah. They mean why her, right? He was in Why Her, and that was in 2022. But then you could read it exactly like I said, it's either 18 again or True Beauty. And then obviously shortly after that he did yeah, then he did Why Her. I really liked Why Her actually. And then he also did after Why Her he did Sound of Music and um Family by Choice, and also obviously currently Dear X. So yeah, I mean, he's doing great. You know, not like some other Korean actors who we haven't seen you know, on the who we haven't seen in like years. You know what I mean? Nam Joo-hyuk. But anyways, but like, yeah, no one's pointing fingers at anybody. Not really. I didn't know they'd already done I didn't know they'd already done so he was in Cheer Up in 2015, but I didn't know that they then did they did a Cheer Up again, which was in 2022. You see, because you know, this is the thing, like I always feel like K dramas, right? They're like not the people who like remake stuff. Like that's Hollywood's issue. Do you know what I mean? Like Hollywood remakes stuff all the time, but I didn't really necessarily think that like K dramas do that very often, you know? And I think well, animes do that too, slightly. But as I said, like I don't feel like Korean dramas do it that often, because they generally don't. Like they definitely don't do it, and we're so glad that they don't. Like obviously, like I said, my biggest gripe with them is yeah, and it's not an unpopular opinion either. Like it's the fact that they do love triangles all the time. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think it's an unpopular opinion because I've heard people also say it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean. I'm like to myself, guys, don't come for me, because obviously people have said that they do love triangles a lot, and obviously they should do them less. Like, I remember, like, I tried to get away from love triangles, and it was like, as I was saying earlier, and then I tried to get away from them, like, exactly, from Hollywood made ones, and then it's like I came to K-dramas, and then I still was met with the same problem. I was like, okay, so I'm still watching them. Do you know what I mean? And I said to you guys, I feel like even in that episode, which I referenced it so much, you might as well listen to it. I think that I haven't liked a love triangle really since Vampire Diaries. Like, honestly, since Vampire Diaries, since either probably True Blood, because I enjoyed True Blood's love triangle very much so too, just because, well, that just makes sense because it was two vampires versus it was two vampires and one psychic girl. Do you get it? So that's what that was. But then that's my only time, honestly. Like, of course I love films like All the Boys I've loved before, but then you see, like, okay, All the Boys I Loved Before started out as a love triangle as well, and then they just kept on doing it again and again and again. Like, hold on, like, like, honestly, I love that whole, like, I love that trilogy, but as I said, they literally kept the love triangle streak going all the way, which is just quite scary. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's very scary. Like, you can literally stop. Like, in any time, you can stop. But they kind of just kept going. Yeah, usually I like to do, I think, isn't it, I have done in these past episodes, actually, I have done a recommendation at the end of every episode. I will say for today, I want to say Twinkling Watermelon because I'm watching it. Like, obviously I'm watching, a few dramas right now, but I would say Twinkling Watermelon just on the basis that, you know, just on the basis that it has Han-wook in it. So Choi Han-wook, which is one of my favorite Korean actors. And that it's about time travel as well. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't, so like time travel, music, and a father and son relationship. Who hates any of those things? Like, those are all wonderful things. Like, we need we need more dramas like that anyway. Like, I think people say Twinkling Watermelon is very good, and I guess it is one of the it's one of the rare ones, I mean, because again, it's about time travel. You don't get those very often. Aside from, like, Lovely Runner, which is also supposed to be one of the episodes that I'm going to do soon. So, I mean, basically probably in the new year, but I will be doing that one on this challenge. And then also, I'm still obviously going through all the dramas that I'm currently finishing, so then they will also have episodes as well, like Love in Moonlight, and also Dear X as well, and also maybe as I said earlier, well, Dynamite Kiss for sure, and also Typhoon Family, possibly. I'm not so sure about Typhoon Family though, because I feel like it has been it has been, like, you know, part of the, you know, 2025 K-dramas, but I'm not really sure if I would really do a full lengthy episode, and maybe that tells us a lot. Not too much. I meant, like, of course I like it, but I mean, maybe that says something in the way that I am enjoying it. But I guess if I don't feel like I have a lot that I can say, then, like, it will probably just be a part of, my written, which obviously I will be sure to promote, which obviously I write my K-drama recap every year. So I wrote a recap last year, which was my 2024 recap, which I actually will put in the description, but I'll be writing my 2025 one as well. So really, in a way, if I don't talk about Typhoon Family, you can just read it. Like, and that might be easier. And I think, guys, what I'm telling you as well is read more. Like, reading is good for you. As much as like, listening is great. Like, that is why I find it so easier to like talk to you guys like in a like long format like this than instead of writing. But I do find my recap very fun, to be honest, in the way that like I find it fun because I get to look at all the dramas that I've watched over the year, and I really get to rate them, and I get to really see how much I really enjoyed. I will say this to you guys because of course yeah, you're special, so I will say that I do feel like Weak Hero was like my favorite drama of the whole entire year. And I think you guys would already know that because obviously I spoke about Weak Hero on here I spoke about on here, and also I just think it was the one that just made the most impact on me. I'll be honest, because I was saying to my mum like the fact that like if a K drama doesn't like leave you after it's done, that just tells you everything. Like I think about Weak Hero 24/7, so obviously that means it obviously made an impact on me, and I need season 3. Like I need water. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. Bye.